Hey, family. Welcome to the African Ancestry Experience, where we discuss what it means to transform the way Black people we view ourselves and the way we view Africa. Are you tired of the same old holiday menu? What y'all having for dinner for the holidays? Do you need some fresh ideas on how to wow your family and friends? Well, we've got you. There is Richmond, Virginia's first West African restaurant is called Africanne on Main, and Chef Mamusu is here. She's going to join us to share a few of her favorite holiday traditions and all kinds of stuff. You don't want to miss this, so stay tuned because I want to know ya.
I wanna know ya, Cameroon, Guinea-Bissau, Sierra Leone, gotta let me show ya, Nigeria, Bioko Island, Liberia.
So, the African Ancestry Experience is all about sharing identity focused conversations within the African diaspora. You all know how we do here. We trace your DNA, we help you find your roots, and then we help you explore who you are. And so, you've been with us. You rock with us every week. I'm so happy to see all of you here. And remember that we add new content daily to our YouTube channel. So please be sure to like us, share, subscribe, and most importantly, turn on the notifications. That way you won't miss a single episode or any of the new content that we're updating every day. Every Wednesday, we give away African Ancestry swag to the first person to join us after 7 p.m. I see all of you all in here. Shout out to Cordell and I Am Vogue, Gabriella, Kia's here, Cheryl, all the regulars are here. Lorraine McLemore Miller is in the building. Darnell Clayton, of course. It's so good to see all of you. So Lorraine McLemore Miller, you are the winner of the African Ancestry's Remember Who You Are study guide. So please send us your mailing address to info@africanancestry.com and we'll get your early holiday gift in the mail to you. Speaking of the holidays and gifts, we are all up in the holiday spirit over here at AfricanAncestry.com. Over the next few days, via our social media channels, we're going to be sharing 5 ways to Africanize your holiday. Now, I don't want y'all to laugh at me. I don't know if we made that word up or not, but you know what it means, right? 5 ways to Africanize your holiday. So number 1 is to drip out your holiday tree African style. You can use fabrics from the motherland for your tree skirt. You can get country specific ornaments, and then you can top it off with an African angel. How about that? So I want you to check back to see our 4 more creative ideas throughout the week on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, and of course here on YouTube. I want to know how you guys celebrate the holidays. Jonathan, Lakita, Briona, what do you guys have any traditions, KO, that you're accustomed to celebrating over the holidays? Darnell says, boss keeps scheduling to work on Wednesdays. Edith, I'm so happy to see Tune Days in the building. Avanti, what do you guys do during the holidays? Welcome, Niana. I hope I said your name right. That's really pretty. Looking forward to learning about Liberian holiday dishes. You and me both. Okay, so I want to know what you guys are how you guys handle the holidays. It's the season for gratitude for all of you who join us every week here on the African Ancestry family. I'm extremely grateful, full of gratitude for each and every one of you and sharing your time with us, whether you're watching us in the replay or if you're here in the comments right now. You all know that in February, we're celebrating 20 years of helping Black folks transform the way we see Africa and ourselves. And we couldn't do it without you guys. So a million thanks goes out to all of you for being here with us. And so many of you have already taken the test and found your roots in an present day African country, an ethnic group. You guys are the OGs. So now what do? That's what people always ask me. Okay, so then what? You find out where you're from, and then what? Well, people are doing all sorts of things to reconnect with their ancestral roots. And one of the most exciting ways is to attend one of our upcoming African ancestry family reunions. Wouldn't you agree, Darnell and Yakota and Tunde? I know you guys would agree that that is one of the best ways to celebrate your ancestry. African ancestry family reunions, we affectionately know them as AAFRs. They are specifically curated, all-inclusive birthright journeys home. So if we find out that you share ancestry with people, let's say the Tikar people in Cameroon or the Iwando people in Cameroon, you can join us on the Cameroon trip. We're going in March. That one sold out, so you're going to have to be on the lookout for the next dates. If we find that you share ancestry with the Ewe or the Akan people in Ghana, you can join us on the Ghana AAFR. And that's how those work. We travel the country and we have culturally immersive experiences throughout the country. And actually, 40 of your cousins, ranging in ages from 4 to 80, landed at Dulles Airport here in DC earlier today from the 4th AAFR in Sierra Leone. And you know how it goes. They received their citizenship based on having traced their ancestry with African ancestry to the Mende people or the Temini people or the Limba people. So we are looking forward to talking to them next week. You don't want to miss that show. You don't want to miss any of these shows. But traveling on one of our upcoming AAFRs is one of the most powerful ways to close that Africa void, to fill that Africa void, and to create a deeper connection with yourself and your ancestral home. So going over to africanancestry.com/travel, where you'll see our 2023 dates very, very soon. Woo, can't wait. Yes, Avanti, this is going to be great. Now, I want you guys to find the black emoji chef. I want you to find the brown emoji chef emoji. I'm talking backwards tonight, and put it in the chat to welcome Chef Mamu from Africanne on Maine to our show. Woo, 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 woo. Chef, hello. How are you?
How are you?
Listen, my mouth is watering. I know that you're a Liberian chef, and we're going to get into all this, but my favorite dish on the planet, I tell every African chef I meet this, is chebajin from
Senegal.
Do you make chebajin, chef?
No, but I make jollof rice. Well, no. Let's talk about chebajin. Chebajin is just like jollof rice because jollof rice is an international dish that throughout West Africa we have claimed it as a dish that is only for occasions, but in different countries we call it different way. So chebajin is jollof rice, but it's in Wolof, which is called chebajin. Okay, so but it is prepared similar to jollof rice, which is actually called Wolof rice.
That's where it comes from.
Senegal.
Okay.
But over the years, Ghana, Liberia, Senegal, Guinea, we all have taken this dish, which is very simple to prepare, and made it almost like a national dish. And we have like war.
I know.
Jollof rice competition, jollof rice festival, and all of the countries think they can cook it better than the other one. So Liberians think they have the best jollof rice. Ghanaians think they have the best of Nigerians. So we have this jollof rice war all the time. Yeah. But it actually originated from Senegal called Wolof rice, which is chebajin. Yeah, which is chebajin. So,
well, thank you for sharing that. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to come to Africanne. Am I pronouncing it correctly? Africanne?
Yes, Africanne on Maine.
Okay,
and
I'm still coming.
Name is Mamusu.
Mamusu. Okay, thank you. We didn't get a chance to talk before the show. Chef Mamusu, it is very, Much an honor to have you join us, and I wish you happy holiday season. We are so excited to learn more about some of your favorite holiday traditions and share them with us. But before we get into all that, we want the African Ancestry family to know who you are. So if you would please finish this sentence for me. Are you ready?
Yes.
I am.
I am Chef Mamusu, originally from Liberia, born, raised in Liberia, but now a naturalized citizen of the United States.
Okay.
So my origin in my life is Liberia.
Okay.
And I am a chef in Richmond, Virginia. I've been in business for 25 years consistently. And I'm now started a new restaurant, which is on the VCU campus, which is the university campus.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. So I understand that your grandmother, Ida Emma, Mama Ida Emma, recognized your gifts, your culinary gifts, as early as 8 years old. And your father put you in charge of cooking at 13 years old.
Yes.
My father would have never done that. The family would not have eaten had he done that. So tell us what that was like. How, did you just come out of into the world loving cooking, or what?
I was born for that.
Yeah.
Let me just start off that way, saying I was born to do this, because there isn't anything in this world that I love to do other than cooking. And I always tell my friends that if I died today and came back as something else, I would still be cooking. So there isn't anything else that I love to do. I love this skill. I love this craft. So I don't just do it just to make money. I do it out of love. And even when I prepare my food, I'm praying over it. I'm singing. I'm trying to have putting good energy in it, because that's how the food transfer at the end of the day. If I'm not feeling good, the food does not feel good, because it transfers with me, because this is who I am. I am that. I am food. Starting at age 8, my grandmother saw it. And when she saw that, she grabbed me out of 8 daughters and decided to take me to train me, because she also was a chef, but in the African style of being a chef. And she had a herb garden. And so from this, when I used to go out in the herb garden and pick up herbs, but I didn't know the name of them. And I would create samples, create stuff, and I'll bring it to her and make her eat it. And I would say, Grandma, I just made this, eat this. And she would say, look over there. And I look over there, and of course you throw it away because it wasn't really food. And then she said, oh, this is so good. This is so good. Where do you learn all of this? This is so good. And so I started, and she saw that, and I started under her, under her leadership, and she started training me. But the way I learned how to cook wasn't by measurements. She would sit maybe 20 feet away from me, and I would be in the kitchen on a stool, because I was 8 years old. Yeah. And then she would say, she would start the stew, and she would say, tell me what stage your food is in. And I'm looking at the big pot, and I'm seeing in the pot it doing all these things. And I'm 8 years old, and I go running back to her, and I said, Grandma, the pot is doing blah, 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 because I'm a comedian too. It's doing blah, 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 and then she said, okay, your pot is in stage 2. All right, go ahead, stir it quietly, don't make a whole lot of noise. Then I will come back. She would say, I want you to sniff. I want you to sniff the food. So what you smell? And I'll come running back. I said, I smell pepper. She said, yeah, pepper. Go back and sniff some more. And I go and I sniff. And she said, what you smell? I said, well, I smell palm oil. She said, okay. Then, we keep going, making the stew. And then she would say, okay, what stage is your pot in right now? I said, it's drying down. It just went brr. And then she said, okay, it's at the end of your stew. So turn it stove down load and bring it to me. I'm like, oh, Grandma, I can't bring this big box. She said, yes, you can. Take a little bit out and bring it to me. And I'll bring it and she'll taste it. She said, all right, that's your stew. So that's how I learned from her, by just looking at it and determine, because she used to always say you have to have a relationship with your food.
Mm.
So having a relationship with your food, you have to know what stage the food is in. And you have to actually communicate with your food if it's part of you. Mainly, you have to basically tell the food what you want and how you want it to come out. And so that's what that was the reason how I learned cooking, not necessarily putting 2 spoons here or 3 measuring spoons. It was more of a spiritual learning how to cook than anything else.
And so once you learned and of course you grew up and then you came to how did you come to Richmond, Virginia?
Now that's a different story, because I came through the war in Liberia in 1980.
Mm-hmm.
I was literally thrown into the United States because all of my family were in the Civil War. I was the only one out of my family that was able to get out right before the war started in 1980. So I left my entire family, including my children and parents and everyone behind, and I came. Now, my story is very, very hard to tell or very emotional to tell, but I will tell a little bit of it. Because before I left my house, let's go back to Liberia. We know that Liberia was basically founded by free slaves of the United States. Mm-hmm. So we do have Broad Street in Liberia. So I was on Broad Street, everybody moving around, scared, the war about to start, things moving, and I meet a friend, and she says to me, "Hey, Ida, where are you going?" I said, "Well, I'm trying to go home and lock up because it's getting ready to blow up, And she said, "Do you want to go to the United States?" And I said, "Oh, yeah." And she said, "Well, the Pan Am at that time is pulling out the United States citizens out because the war is about to start. So they're pulling out the citizens. So you might be able to get a chance to get on this flight. So be at the airport, which is John F. Kennedy Airport. Be at the Roberts Airport. Be at the airport at 7 p.m. And I will see if I can get you on the flight." So I went to my grandmother's side, and I said to her, I said, "Mommy," I called her Mommy. I said, "Mommy, I was asked to go to the United States." I was 24 years old. I was asked to go to America. She said, "Yes, it's time for you to go because I've seen this long time ago." And then she said to me, I knelt by her bedside, and she grabbed my hand and she said, "This is the end of our journey. I will never see you again." Mm. And I said, "Yes, you will see me, Grandma." I said, "You'll see me. I'll be back." She said, "No, this is the end for us." She said, "But I want you to promise me one thing. Everything that I've taught you does not belong to you. You cannot keep it. You have to pass it on. If you say that I'm going to live forever, the essence of me will live on into other people, whomever you're going to teach." And so I got left, and we hugged, and she gave me her Bible and a picture of her and my grandfather, and we hugged, and I left. When I got to the United States, I had $8 in my hand in an overnight bag. The lady that put me on the plane, I never saw her again. Till today, 30 years later, I never saw her anymore. And I'm standing at the airport just crying because I didn't know where to go. I had nobody. I didn't know what was going on. My first time leaving my country at 24 years old. So I'm sitting at the baggage claim, and this lady comes up to me with a Jamaican accent. And she said, "Ma'am, are you okay?" And I said, "No." And I just boo and telling her what had happened. And she said, well, wait right here, just like that. And she came, brought me a bottle of water and some cookies. This was like maybe 10, 11 in the morning on this end. I never saw her again until almost 11 o'clock at night. She had on her uniform and she came, she said, come home with me. And I said, come home with, she said, yeah. She said, do you have anywhere to go? I said, no. She said, okay, come home with me. And she lived in Brooklyn, in a very, very high crime neighborhood in Brooklyn. Ugh. So we get on the D train, go all the way, stop at the end of the D train, get off, and we walk about maybe another 10 blocks to her apartment complex. Move it. So to make story short, I stayed with her for a little bit, and when I found some of my family members, I came back to her and she said to me, she said, do not ever call me. Do not ask for me. I am your angel. And this was 30 years ago, and I've never seen this woman again or talked to her or even know what she looks like anymore. And that's how I got to the United States, through that.
Wow.
Through those two things, yeah.
This is incredible, and I appreciate you sharing that story, even though it is difficult to relive the emotions, because that is an important part of Liberia's history. And we find so many people have Liberian ancestry when they take our test. And I think it's important for us to know how that period in Liberia's history impacted people. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. So now you are a well-known chef. I think her name was Kia, is in the comments saying she ate at your restaurant today. She's eaten there 3 times this week. Your grandmother obviously very clearly is living through you. You talked about singing and dancing and enjoying, praying over the food. Do you still do that in the restaurant now? Or have you trained the people who work in your restaurant to do the same thing?
Yes, we do. We do that a lot in the restaurant. We pray, even when my restaurant is a buffet style restaurant. So once I put the food on the buffet, before I open at 11 a.m., I usually brace the food. I walk from item to item, and then I say, and I ask God that for anyone that comes in this restaurant that's having some health issues, please let the food heal them. Because all of the spices that I use in my food are healing spices. I use thyme, parsley, rosemary, turmeric, ginger, cayenne. All those healing spices are in my food every single day. And I have customers that walk in here and say, Chef, I'm not feeling good today. I came to you to get some feel-good food. You know, so I get that a lot. And so I am very, very grateful to my customers, because they know me and they know what I don't cut corners and I don't compromise their health. I'm not just a chef, I'm a healer. And I wanted to heal people through the food, because the culinary art is the most important art that people don't take seriously. Because we feed you, we heal you, we make you healthy, we make you grow. That's what we do as culinary arts.
Well, can I ask you a question about that? So this is the holiday season, and while there's a lot of joy and, a lot of families coming together, people celebrating during the holidays, it can also be a very stressful time of the year. And we certainly, as Black people, as across the diaspora, are living in generally stressful times. Yes. What are some things that you would suggest, like if we were to come to your restaurant, when we come to your restaurant during the holiday season, what are some of the things you would suggest for healing that may be work well during this time of the year?
Well, I usually prepare a special drink, which I call Chef Mamusu's winter drink. And it's actually a healing tea with cloves, cinnamon, ginger, and it's brewed very hot, and so that is good for people that are suffering from colds or just the winter aches and pains, so I suggest that. And the food in general, that I put on the buffet every day is good throughout the year, winter as well as summer. But then I also have my winter soups, and I make my special navy bean soups and my seafood gumbo that I do, which is with fufu, of course.
Okay, wait, hold on. Not chef, but you said navy bean soup and seafood gumbo. So we need to know what makes these things special, because these are also dishes that we find across the diaspora. So
it's special because of the spices that I put in there.
Okay.
So it's not just an ordinary navy bean soup. It's chef special navy bean soup. So it has all of the healing spices in there. So when you taste it, you will be able to taste cayenne, you will be able to taste turmeric, you will be able to taste basil or cilantro. So all of those spices are in the soup that gives it that twist to what a real or regular navy bean soup would taste like. And also sometimes I add potatoes, sometimes I add carrots even to the soup to kind of make it more or less a meal.
Okay. And then you talked about the gumbo and you said something about fufu. So now how is your gumbo different than what we might find down in New Orleans or some in Texas, some other part of the US?
Again, it will be with the African spices. So my gumbo is like seafood medley. Also in the gumbo, we have a lot of fish that we put in the gumbo, and of course we put okras, we put spinach in our in our gumbo. We put okras. We put a lot of regular fish and shrimps. A lot of people can do shellfish, so we try not to put a whole lot. But the key to what my gumbo is the actual African spices that changes everything than a regular gumbo. And African spices mean sometimes we will take the smoked herring and blend it into a dust form and it become a seasoning. And we mix that with peppers and onions, and then we have different types of seasoning that goes in it. So it doesn't really taste like the regular New Orleans gumbo. And we don't use pork, so I don't cook with pork or pork products. So there is none in there, and that's what makes my food different, because I use African spices and special herbs and spices that I use.
I feel like we need a road trip right now to Africanne on Maine. It's 7:30 and I'm starving, and you are just making everything sound so delicious. Are there some Liberian traditions that you use during the holiday season?
Yes. Now, the way we do it is because Liberia was really founded by, of course, free slaves from the 1800s. So we still have that African American background in Liberia. So those of us that were Christians, are Christians, we celebrate the Christmas tree, the gifts, and everything that you do in the United States with Christmas, we do that in Liberia also because of the way Liberia was founded through the free slaves. So they carry that back. But when we come to the table for dinner, it's all on. So we have, of course, the jollof rice. And this is the Liberian jollof rice, which is prepared only when we Liberians do it. It's different from the Nigerian jollof rice or Ghanaian jollof rice. We also have something called Liberian collard greens. Now, Liberian collard greens is totally different from Southern style collard greens because we put meat in it, like smoked turkey and chicken and beef, and we kind of shred it in such a way that you can hardly tell, the grains, because it's just beautiful and it's just green and it has all these African spices. And also we have Liberian potato salad. Now, our potato salad is not real cold like the regular potato salad, and it's not warm. It's that soothing in between cold and warm taste. And we do it with either chicken in it, we have vegetables in it, we have seasonings in it. So it's almost like a meal, but it's not cold and it's not hot. So you got that real nice, smooth taste. And that's our Liberian potato salad. So that's also on the table. And we do something called, we do something called sweet potato tots. We have sweet potato corn. And some of those desserts came back when the slaves went back and to Liberia, the free slaves. They carry a lot of the southern dishes with them. But when they carried them, we tweaked some of those dishes because we added African spices. So when I started cooking in the United States and I saw that people weren't really inclined to eating traditional dishes, I said, okay, I'm going to give you what you know, but I'm going to give you what I know. So I blended the southern dishes with the African spices. That's what made my food so unique than regular southern food. I do mac and cheese, but it's different. I do collard greens, but it's different. I do candy yams. I do all of those things that southern cooking is, but when you taste it, it's different. So that's those are the three main things that I would suggest. Okay. Now, if you want Liberian potato salad or Liberian collard greens or Liberian jollof rice, just order it from the restaurant. We'll make it for you.
Look, somebody said in the comments, African ancestry bus trip to Africanne on Main. I'm with her. I think we need to get on 395 and come on down there. And everybody who's watching, if you are within driving distance of Richmond, please, you know how we do. We support our own, and so you have to run, not walk, to Africanne on Main. If you get there before me, please tell me how it is, because we also have. I don't want to cut you. I'm sorry. No, go ahead. We also do traditional African dishes, not just Southern style. We do the Nigerian egusi with fufu, honey yams. We do the Liberian cassava leaf. We do the okra sauce. We do the peanut soup. We do the goat stew. We do the red stew. We do oxtails. We do all of that. And you have to order, a la carte. So It's not really on the buffet, but you can come and order it and get it to go. And since we have moved into VCU campus, before I started doing African food, I didn't do a whole lot of it because I didn't have the clientele. Now the kids are like really ruling it. They got me like sweating because they come in and ask for stuff. I'm like, oh, I gotta go check on YouTube. I don't know what that term is. Like what? Like from countries that I have no idea. Man, do you have this dish? I'm like, oh, give me 1 minute, let me check, And so they are challenging me now, and I'm so excited about it because it took me 25 years to actually start preparing real African dishes. Wow. You see, so I'm being challenged and I'm loving it because this is the lean that I wanted to get in. And it took me this long to get into that lean. And the kids are taking me there. And I'm just going with them. I'm happily going with them. Making all the African dishes really traditionally, not cutting corners. And they come in and say, I want it real spicy. I'm like, really? That's easy for me to do. So we do have that lean in the restaurant, which is the traditional African dishes. And we also have another lean for vegans and vegetarians. So all of it, yeah. Tell me about that. Tell me about that. My father is a vegan and I dabble in it. What are some of your specialties that you do vegan? We do the same traditional dishes, like for example, the egusi. We do that with vegan style. We do red stew, which is the onion stew, vegan. We have the vegan collard greens, vegan jollof rice, vegan beans and rice, vegan tofu, vegan papaya. We have on Tuesdays in the restaurant, it's called Vegan Tuesdays. Okay. So we cook only food for vegetarians and vegan on Tuesdays. Is this at VCU or is this at Africanne on Main? That's at Africanne on Main.
on
Okay.
Tuesday. We have this vegan Tuesday, so we do all of that on Tuesdays. And but during the other days, we still have vegan dishes, but we kind of specialize ourselves to the vegan community on Tuesdays. But we still do the other days. We still do have vegetarian dishes on the buffet, but we just emphasize that particular day for our vegan society.
Wow.
And anything that I cook with meat, I can cook it without meat. Anything, I can turn it around, because as a chef, I don't just cook, I create. So if you come to me and tell me, hey, I'm a vegan, I don't want no meat in this, I'm like, it's easy for me to do.
What else you got? That's piece of cake. Huh?
It's easy for me to do. Yeah. So
wait, speaking of cake, so what about desserts? You mentioned sweet potato tarts. Are there any other?
Yes, we do a mango vegan cake. We do rum cake, or real African rum cake. Now on our table also we have a fruit cake, which throughout the diaspora they do that during the Christmas holiday. Mm-hmm. They have this fruit cake that we all put together. But when we do our fruit cake, we use mostly the tropical fruits, like pineapples and mangoes and stuff like that in our fruit cake. We don't do apples and others, so we try to make the cake as tropical as possible, because in Liberia, those are the fruits that we have. So we make those.
Wow. I only have one more question, Chef. I know that you have a lot going on there, and you graced us with your time for a short period. I am interested to know, have you been able to visit Liberia since you left?
Unfortunately, I haven't. I've tried. I wanted to go. We were planning to go as a family, and then the Ebola came, and it was part of Liberia. Then that took a couple of years to ease off. Then we were planning to go, and then COVID came. So it's very difficult for us to go back home. Not that we don't want to, but it is so hard when you're living in this country trying to survive, to live, and to thrive. It's hard sometimes to go back home, because when you go home, you're not going home to visit. You're actually going home to give back. Because once you land, you better have money, because everybody coming for some of that. You either got to duck from everybody or have some money. Because you would be building people's homes for them. You would be putting front doors on. You would be paying somebody's tuition. Hey, when we go, they go home. Whatever you take, you don't bring back. Right. Because they would start taking your shoes off your feet at the airport. So you have to go prepare. Don't just go and thinking you're going on a tourist trip. You have to go prepare.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Well, I certainly hope that you and your family are not, are not stopped by any more pandemics or of any kind, and that when it's the right time, you're able to travel back.
Probably next year, we're planning as a family to go, because most of our children were born here. So we're planning to take the kids and just have a big family outing when we go. But we're still in communication with each other, even though we're not there physically, but we're there spiritually all the time, So we still stay connected to the ones that survived the war. Mm-hmm. I lost over 40-some members of my family in the war, including 3 sisters and the children and everything. So the war has not been very good for my family. So the ones that are alive, we try to stay close to them.
Yes. So as we let you go, what's next for you, Chef? You've expanded it in your locations. What else do you have going on?
Well, I'm in the process of starting a cooking show on TV. And so we're working on it. We just finished episode 1. It should be 6 episodes in season 1, and we're working on that. And also the cookbook is coming. That will come through with the episodes, the cookbook. Mm-hmm. So that should be probably in the near future, next year. That's what's coming up for me next.
I love it.
See me on the channel next year.
Listen, I hope you will let us know, because we will have everybody who follows us on the African Ancestry Experience watching your show and buying your cookbook, because that's how we do. So I wish you the best with that.
And the cooking show is called At Chef Mamusu's Table. Okay, so look for that. Chef Mamusu's
Very nice. Well, thank you for sharing your table with us this evening, Chef Mamusu. It was very nice to meet you, and I will meet you in person at the restaurant on a Tuesday probably, or else we'll just put in our order in advance for the vegan dishes.
Okay. All right, I'm so grateful for being here. Thank you so much.
And do you have a website or Instagram that people can follow you?
Yes, Instagram, chefmamusu.com.
Okay, perfect. Have a very good evening. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much. And God bless.
Care. Oh my goodness, you guys, you didn't expect that we were going to get a lesson in Liberian history and culture, did you? That was incredible. And thank you so much. I can't wait to see the show either, Dion. I think it's going to be incredible with her personality and her twist on all the dishes. Is anybody else besides Kia in Richmond and are able to go to her restaurant? Yes. Thank you, Kia, for the connection. You certainly hooked us up. I hope you guys all benefited from that, and it gave you some ideas for how you can do something a little different during the holidays. It sounds to me like we should all be exploring with a little African spice. Everything she said, she tricks it out with a little African spice. So I love that. I love that. I just want to make sure that you guys are, if you're watching us in the replay, put a fist emoji in the comments to let us know that you were here, and to let Chef Mamu know that you were here and you enjoyed her history and her culture that she shared with us. I want you all to stay tuned for next week's show. It's when our latest African ancestry family members are going to be with us to share their reflections and their favorite moments from being on their citizenship journey. That's a mouthful. Citizenship journey in Sierra Leone. And then on December 21st, our team, my crew here at AfricanAncestry.com, I'm trying to get everybody to participate. We're doing our annual Ujamaa show on December 21st. And so we will be sharing our gift suggestions, highlighting Black businesses, just in time for Kwanzaa. We celebrate Kwanzaa here at African Ancestry, and we invite you to join us in that celebration. If you remember, Ujamaa is the fourth principle of Kwanzaa, which means cooperative economics. And that is what African Ancestry is all about. Siobhan and Timothy, Diane, Gabriella, thank you all so much for being here with us tonight. On the African Ancestry Experience. And again, a thanks to Chef Mamu and her team for making it happen and for being here. And of course, I cannot forget, you guys hear that phone in the background, I'm sorry. I cannot forget Wendy Cherry. Shout out to Wendy for producing yet another wonderful experience for us. Until we meet again, everyone, may you be happy, may you be healthy, and may you be whole. Have a very good night.
I wanna know ya.